Hello, welcome back to Open Table Adventures. As always, I am Dan the Baker, and I'm back here today with another episode of Recipes for Adventures, our series where I make a little recipe based on some amazing TTRPG content from across the internet. And today, this recipe is all about me. It's always been about me. Specifically, we're talking about my TTRPG that I'm currently kickstarting, StoryBake. StoryBake is a baking adventure TTRPG all about the magic of baking, the power of friendship and camaraderie, and finding wonder in the mundane world. You can get the over 80-page PDF that includes all of the rules of StoryBake, the 10 different specialties and their character sheets, and 8 pre-written adventures with recipes inspired by them. That's just the base tier. You can also get extra recipes, you can get dice, you can get custom aprons, and so much more. Check out the Kickstarter, the link is down below. And this is also for the one-shot we did of StoryBake a couple weeks ago on the channel, A Giant Frosting Problem. In that, they made a chocolate cake. So today, I'm gonna make a chocolate cake. Not just any chocolate cake. Today, I'm going to be making my Coca-Cola chocolate celebration cake. It's a cake with nondescript soda. I'm also gonna show you how to make a delicious Swiss meringue chocolate buttercream. Let's get started. To start, I'm going to cream together our butter and sugar. I have here 1.5 sticks of butter and 2/3 a cup of white sugar. And I'm gonna cream them together until they are light and fluffy. Should take about 8 to 10 minutes.
Baking adventure game, not baking tragedy game. Like, we're not supposed to be having self-sacrifices over here.
Oh, I'm not. I was not. I didn't.
So we have our creamed butter and sugar, and to this I'm gonna add our 2 eggs. Next, I'm gonna add our cocoa, but first I have to activate it. To activate it, I'm simply gonna take our cocoa powder and mix it in with some of our soda. You can use, kind of whatever soda you want. I recommend using like the dark sodas, sticking, with your colas, your root beers, things like that. Maybe a ginger ale would work, that'd be cool. You can also use coffee, to get a nice, like really rich flavor. Also, don't get diet soda. We want the sugar in here. We want the sugar in here, and we don't want the aspartame. Now I'm gonna add this Coca-Cola paste to our mixture. Now for our dry ingredients, I have our flour, our baking soda, and our baking powder. Don't forget to add a little salt. I'm gonna give that just a quick mix. Next, I'm gonna take our milk, and stay with me here, I know this is really gross, some more soda to mix in with the milk. This is the most disgusting part of this recipe, but it's fine, you'll survive. Now I'm gonna mix all this together into our base, alternating with dry and wet ingredients. Starting with dry, ending with dry. You'll know everything is mixed really well together when you lift out your spatula and you let it drop off. And you get that, you get that nice V. To finish this off, I'm just gonna add a little bit extra chocolate with chocolate chips. You don't measure chocolate chips with cups or grams, you measure with your heart. Now that we're all mixed, I'm going to add our batter to my prepared baking pan. I'm gonna bake this in one sheet because I want it to be like a square cake. Then I'm gonna cut this in half, put one on top. You'll see in a couple minutes, I don't know why I'm explaining this to you right now. Just put the batter in the pan. No one gets hurt. Make sure you spread out the batter evenly across the entire pan. I like to go to each corner first, so then I kind of just have to fill in the gaps on the edges, and it's kind of like a little connect the dots. I'm now gonna put this in my 350-degree oven to bake for about 20 minutes. While it's baking and cooling, I'll meet you over at the stove to make our frosting. So for our frosting, we are making a Swiss meringue chocolate buttercream, which means I have here a pot of simmering water that I'm going to put our bowl on top of. And to that, I'm going to add the egg whites of 4 eggs, some sugar, and some salt. I'm just going to whisk that until it is all combined. So I'm gonna keep this on the heat and keep whisking until everything is dissolved and when the eggs get to a temperature of 165 degrees. Alright. So now that it is at the temperature we want, I'm going to take it off the heat. Now, counterintuitively, I need to cool this down. This won't cut it. This, however, will. I'm gonna use my electric whisk here to whip up these egg whites until they about double in size and they have cooled down enough. Basically, it's like cool to the touch. I'm not looking for a specific temperature here. You can also use, your hand mixer or a stand mixer. I just like my fancy whisk. Okay, and while they do that, I want to tell you a little bit more about StoryBake. StoryBake is a baking adventure TTRPG. So yes, you are baking, you're a baker, but you are also an adventurer. Your baking gives you amazing magical abilities that you can use to defeat monsters, solve puzzles, and save the day. You work in a mystical bakery that moves from town to town, not necessarily where you always want to go, but definitely where you need to go. You can play as one of 10 different specialties, like pies, cakes, frozen, or cookies. There are also 8 different pre-written adventures that you can play and then afterwards make the recipe that is based on them. This game is inspired by my love of baking and my love of finding adventure wherever I can. I can't wait for you to play. Now that it's at the height and temperature, consistency I wanted at, it's time to add the butter. So you've probably seen over here, I have a bunch of butter that I cut up and let sit out at room temperature until it's nice and soft. Yeah, you see, we want it to be very soft because when we add it, we want it to be able to mix really well. So I'm just going to add my butter little by little, mixing the whole time. I essentially just want to beat this now until it gets light and fluffy. Now to make this a chocolate frosting, obviously, I'm gonna add some chocolate. This is just a cup of melted chocolate chips. Add it right in there. Yeah, that looks gorgeous. All right, now I'm gonna take this, meet you over the counter so we can assemble.
What is frosting really, and what is cake really? Like, so like, where do you define? Like, where you know the definition? Like, it's just sugar, butter, and flour. Sugar, butter, and what is it? Sugar, butter. What is frosting? Sugar, butter, and.
All right, now we're ready to assemble. I have my cake. I already cut it in two, just make things easier. I have the uglier half, no offense, up on the Lazy Susan, and I have my frosting right here. We're gonna start by just filling. I'm gonna take a healthy dollop of our frosting, put it right in the middle. Then with my offset spatula, I'm just going to spread it evenly around. I want the layer to basically like be even with the amount of cake, if you know what I mean. Like there should be an equal amount of frosting and cake in the middle. All right, so that looks like a nice layer. So now I'm going to take our other half and I'm going to put it upside down on top of this. Be very careful. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay. Okay. I'm now gonna take this whole thing and pop it in the freezer for just a couple minutes. Okay, our cake is out of the freezer. The frosting got nice and cold, so this isn't gonna like wobble around while I put frosting on the top. This I want to be a little bit of a thinner layer. So I'm not gonna put too much on there. Also, I use frosting and buttercream kind of interchangeably. They're technically different. If you want to get really like, you know, nitty gritty about it, I don't. And I'm not gonna frost the sides because I want this kind of be like open facing. I'm also gonna cut these into smaller bits. I don't think I said that, but I'm gonna cut these into smaller bits. Now I'm gonna take a fork and just lightly do a little zigzag all the way down, all the way across the cake. This will just give a little bit of texture and a little bit of dimension to the cake. Now I'm just gonna kind of shave off the sides just to make it so that they're nice and sharp and clean. And you get a snack. Now I'm just gonna pop this back in the freezer for just a couple more minutes before I cut. So my cake's back out of the freezer. The frosting is all nice and solid, and I'm going to cut this into like little, like almost like little sandwich cakes. So I'm gonna cut this whole thing down the middle and then make little, probably like 2-inch-ish, 1.5-inch strips. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't care. I almost forgot. This is a celebration cake. So let me just, also I couldn't find my lighter, so.
Do I get to burn things?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever lets me burn the most.
And there we have it, folks. My Coca-Cola chocolate celebration cake in celebration of my game StoryBake. Roll the glamour shots. Everyone who has supported StoryBake so far. We have so far, as of recording this, raised over $3,000 for StoryBake on Kickstarter, which is about 60% of the way to my goal of $5,000 so that I can pay all the amazing writers and artists who are helping me out with this game. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you check out StoryBake on Kickstarter until April 19th. As always, I've been Dan the Baker. This has been Open Table Adventures, and you are always welcome to pull up a seat. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so like, you know, we did almost kind of die for this chocolate cake. So just keep that in mind, because I've got a little optional screen for you right here. So just keep, yeah. All right, there you go. Here you go.